is Blaze, and today we're going to be doing a basic hovercraft. Now, we've done a basic tier 1, which was, wheels and that fun stuff, but I've been noticing some people having problems with some hovercrafts and stuff like that. So, today we're actually going to go into more or less how to build one of those. Now, first things first, any vehicle that's going to start off the ground, you want off the ground. So, here's our middle block, and essentially what you want to do is we're going to build a giant eye. So, let's see, we've got about 6, 7 blocks. Now we want 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to actually keep this vehicle as even as possible. Now, if I'm not mistaken, in my other tutorial, we kind of go over the idea of putting your front wheels a little bit closer together than your back wheels. In this case, we actually want everything as even as possible. Now, if you notice, I kind of filled in my eye, and now we've got these 2 little sections. Here's the kicker. I want you guys to go under these things with some heavy chassis, and more or less in key areas, at the very least, put down some heavy blocks. Okay? Now, I happen to have a handful of heavy blocks here, so we're going to just kind of fill in this. And we got 7 blocks left, so make that 6 blocks left. So we're going to go ahead and use 4 right out the gate. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll do 5 and 6. Okay. Now what we can also do is we can kind of fill in these gaps here with a little bit of style, a little bit of grace, right? Now, why am I using heavy blocks right here, right? Well, essentially, what we want to do, both short run and long run, is you want your bottom as heavy well, I don't want to say as heavy as possible, but heavier than your top. Okay, we got the first 2 layers. Very simple, very easy, very sleek, right? Not too hard to follow. Next up, back on our white layer, we're going to take movements. We're going to take our hover blades, or at least our base hover blades, and we're actually going to point these bad boys inward. Okay? Now, boom, boom. Look at that. Now, don't get your hopes up, we're far from done. We're actually going to go ahead and add a little bit of back into this thing, right? Give us some butt. Everybody needs a little bit of butt. And we're going to go ahead and point these ones outward and that one upward. Now, the reason why we're doing that is we're going to take 2 more hover blades, strap them to the outside here. Now, generally, the reason why we have these things inside is so that we can more or less keep our vehicle from flipping. Or not flipping, from being shot down, sorry. By keeping these on the inside, it's a lot harder for the enemy to more or less tag you. Now, why is this a problem? Well, if you go watch my tutorial, you'll notice I mentioned balance. Balance with hover blades is a key thing, because the moment you lose it, you are screwed. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts on this. You're boned to the high heavens. There is no return to go. There is no collect $200. You're just, out there. So, essentially, we want to protect those hover blades for as long as possible, and the best way to do that is kind of hide them. You don't have to hide them gloriously, and granted, an attack from above is still going to hurt, but there you go. Now, keep in mind, hover blades do have a max weight limit. We want to be careful of that, so we don't want to overweigh this thing, but just for a beginner thing, I don't think you need to worry too much about that. We'll stick some guns on what we consider the front. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, and a couple front mounted. It's not going to hurt. We'll stick front mounted right here. There we go. Now, for the back end, we want something to protect our guy, right? There we go. And we'll go ahead and point these ones inward. And we'll start this about here. There we go. Now, if you notice, we're not using anything too complex. We're keeping things as simple as we possibly can, right? The reason for this is because this is a tutorial for people who more or less have hover blades, but not too much else. Okay, now that we've got that, let's cover our bum. Okay. Now, we've got that set up, we got that in place. We've got our little area right here. Time to plunk down our hero, aka you. And boom, there's our chair. So now we've got this bad boy set up. Let's go ahead and take her for a spin and see how it goes. Now, fair warning, if you notice, kind of front heavy, okay? If you feel that this is too front heavy, which personally right now I kind of do, I'm going to kind of toss a little bit more weight here in the back to kind of even it out. And the reason why is just so that we can avoid too many complications via those guns. Now if we head into practice, right, if you notice we got no rockets, aka thrusters, no wheels. You can add those if you want, but personally, if you notice, boom, we have a working design. Our guy is ever so slightly protected. It's cheap, it's effective, and look at that. We can reenact Star Wars with this shit. This is basic design. Feel free to augment it and twist it to your specific needs. This is just a basic hover. Just enough to kind of set you guys in motion and keep you guys moving forward. If you like this tutorial, comment, like, and maybe even subscribe would be much appreciated. If you don't, well, take the concepts and kind of run with them. And if you just kind of want to know more about hover blades, or even the SMGs that got tagged onto the front of this thing, visit my tutorials down in the playlists. As for me, well, I'm gonna shoot the hell out of these guys. There we go. Yeah. Don't run, don't run. I will chase you to the ends of these earths. Later, everybody.